And now, Gimmick Infringement.
Welcome, everybody, to the Gimmick Infringement Podcast. I am Brad Winchester. With me, as always, is my tag team partner, Tyler McDowell Blanken. Tyler, how are you this fine Sunday?
I'm doing very well, Brad. I went to Culinary Dropout for the first
nice.
time. Have you been?
Oh, yes, many times.
Have we discussed this on air, off there?
I don't think so. No.
Culinary Dropout in Tucson, in Phoenix. I think it's a national chain as well, is it not?
I don't think so. I think it's...
Is it Arizona?
I think it's part of the Fox restaurant concepts.
Yes.
Zinburger, Culinary Dropout.
Yes.
There's a couple other in there. Yeah.
I think
that's an Arizona thing.
I suppose I could have Googled this beforehand as well. But regardless, I'm thankful. I'm grateful for a new episode of Gimmick Infringement. I want to hear how you're doing, then I'll fill you in about the Culinary Dropout experience. How you been?
I'm doing really well. It looks like there's one in Austin. I'm trying to figure it out right now, looking at locations for the audio. I guess it is national. North Carolina, Indiana, Georgia, Colorado. There's one in each of those. One in California. In Arizona, there's 6 of them. And then Birmingham, Alabama, for some reason. It's a random one there. But
shout out to our Birmingham audience. Okay.
I just like the random Indiana, random Alabama. Yeah, that's strange. 20 in Arizona.
How has your Culinary Dropout experience been?
I've gone. I don't know how many times I've gone. The one in Tucson. The food's always good, but it's like hit or miss service. Just depends on what time of day you go. But generally positive. The one that I went to, I can't remember. It wasn't by. Were you at work? Did you go to the Tempe location?
No. I went to the Phoenix location on 7th Street.
That's the one I've been to. Kind of smaller, right? Like you go into the front. Yeah. That's I've been there. Yes, I have. When I was called up to serve on the 75th Arizona Grand Jury, I had to go for the training day, the all day we're going to read the law day, and they put us up in a hotel downtown over by Chase, and I think it was over by Chase. I can't remember where it was actually, but we just walked to the downtown area or drove over there. I can't remember, and just walked around. Ended up going to Culinary Dropout.
Wow, did I know you? During the
it might have been early on with you working at MHS.
Okay, interesting.
But it was we weren't hanging out. We weren't watching wrestling in our classrooms at lunch.
Yeah,
this might have been in the Tyrone days of the proceedings, but if we want to talk about that.
If you know, you know. Okay, well, Culinary Dropout. It was my first time experience. I went to the restaurant with Emily from Female Driven.
Awesome.
Our viewers will
know.
Out. Yeah, shout out to the Female Driven podcast. Shout out to Emily Olero Jones. And she had been once before. She said in 2022. And again, I've known of Culinary Dropout in case you're thinking, what in the world are these guys talking about? It's kind of it's such a fascinating concept. So it's a total hipster vibe.
100%.
There
100%.
There's an American cuisine, but with the hipster spin on it. There's even a valet parking option. There are TVs. There's cornhole. There's table tennis, I think is what the game's called, Brad. And my best description.
Ping pong, yes.
I've been thinking about this for the last 24 hours after eating there. If a Jack Harlow album were a restaurant, it would be Culinary Dropout. That is my best.
That's a great shout.
Okay.
100%.
I thought about that on the long drive back.
That's such a good comp.
I'm like, that's kind of tough, isn't it? It's Jack Harlow was a restaurant. But Brad, I don't know about you and your experience. Lots of dudes working there with mustaches, no beards or goatees, just the stash. Employees also, at least at my location, dressing in regular clothes. So it was this game of trying to figure out like who actually works here versus who is just a patron. Some employees are business casual. Others are not. There's like short sleeve button downs, jeans, a fair amount of tube tops. And it was just, it was a new experience, but the food was solid. The cornhole was spectacular. And that was my Culinary Dropout experience, man. Thanks for being a vet in this Culinary Dropout game.
You know, I had to look. It might have been Scottsdale when I went, and I think we went.
They do have a Scottsdale location. 2, I think, actually.
Yeah, there's 2. Old Town. Right. I think we went to the Old Town. Because I went with Jess to this thing, and I remember sitting in this space. It might have been It was a bigger restaurant. That's why I remember it. But I know I think I went with, shout out to Mary McCoy, shout out to Beth Surzan. No, Beth wasn't with us. It was shout out to Sally Sivek. And
shout out to Beth Surzan, regardless. Veteran teacher, regardless. Amazing woman. Yeah. Shout out to all
to Jim Doty. I think all of us went. I know Mary and Sally went because I got us all in trouble in one of the meetings we went to for PBIS. I'm pretty sure it was that trip that we went to it, but
tell me why that doesn't surprise me.
It was incredibly boring session. Like the guy was not engaging at all. There were 4 people in the room, me, Mary, Sally, and it might've just been me and Mary and this guy, and then maybe 1 or 2 other people. And Mary asked what the Wi-Fi password was, and I wrote it down for her, but I wrote down pen 15, and she had never seen that before. And she looked at it, and I was like, she was like, oh, pen 15. And I went like, Mary, you can't just say penis like that. And she did a spit take without anything in her mouth. She just like that. And Tyler, Mary was retired by the time that I came back. This was circa 2011. And she was retired and came back as an interventionist. She had put in 30 years probably at that point. I had her classroom eventually when I moved myself into J10 and the Tigers on the wall. I got this woman to have to get separated from one of her classmates by the teacher in the room. This consummate professional, I got her in trouble and they made us move around. But what I remember is going to Culinary Dropout, but it might be combining all of them. Point is I went to one, I had a positive experience. I also had a positive experience at Zinburger up there as well.
Yeah, Zinburger's dope. Zinburger. Yeah. And by the way, for our audience,
great shakes.
Hit us up. Great shakes. Let us know what you think if you're watching. Let us know here on YouTube. What has your Culinary Dropout experience been? Let us know on social. You can find us on Facebook, on Instagram, on X at GIPod19. Of course, much love to our audio listeners. You know we appreciate those 5-star reviews, and thank you for joining us. Brad, what a time right now in pop culture, in pro wrestling. We're going to discuss AEW All In Texas, which is this Saturday.
Yes, sir.
WWE has about 11 events, or at least 3 that I know of. NXT's Great American Bash, Saturday night's main event, and the highly anticipated Evolution 2. We are going to discuss your Lilo and Stitch review. GI at the Movies is coming up in just a moment. Of course, we're going to throw in Steph Watch. We also need to discuss the Sean Diddy Combs verdict, the trial that was. And I'm sure we're going to throw in some surprises along the way.
Yeah, Tyler, there's a lot going on. We're also coming out of a complicated 4th of July. I really enjoyed that Dairy Queen opened up down the street from me now. But I've been working on other things. A lot of it is around Freya. And part of it is this 3D printer. So making a basically a 1/2 or one side of a geodesic dome that has 8 sides. I have to make this 8-sided dome thing for over the trampoline. And I had to print some parts out that are going to hold up in the absolutely brutal Arizona sun. And it turns out that ASA is the material that will hold up the best. So I got some white ASA filament. So there'll be PVC pipes coming off of all of this, kind of like this, into a dome. I'm going to be attaching a sail shade to that. Freya's got a sprinkler for it. So we'll have cover. We'll have water in there. Right at the end of summer, we'll finally have summer. I feel kind of bad about that, but it is happening. And Freya should have a fun place to jump in the coming days. And really excited about that. But we were also very excited to go to a movie on 4th of July. We wanted to start a new tradition. Freya, not up on the fireworks. The loud noises, she's not having that. She's always been that way. She's like super loud stuff. Just get it out of my life. So we decided to start a new tradition, 2 of them. 1, 4th of July cake. This is a Freya call. And 2, let's go see a movie. So let's play the music. Let's get into it. It's time for GI at the Movies.
And now it's time for GI at the Movies.
So Tyler, in the production meeting, we were talking and I was giving you my background about Lilo and Stitch and my love of this film, the original 2002 film. I can't say I grew up with it. Many people did. I was 20 years old when this movie came out. So it's not like I was like, it's foundational in my childhood. No. I was 20. And I still went and I still laughed. I still had a great time. I cried, all of the things, all of the emotions. That movie is so beautiful. It's one of my all-time favorites because I laugh at it every time. So given the track record of Disney live action adaptations of these films, I was a little scared going into it that it was going to be terrible. Bantu, the shark bounty hunter guy, finding out he's not in it before going made me go, what's the point? What is even the point? But they did a really good job of kind of converting I always forget his name, the mad scientist character with the like Russian accent in the cartoon. They de-Russianed him. That character, now played by Zach Galifianakis in the live action, became an incredibly detestable, awful, irredeemable character, and he became the big bad and sort of the primary antagonist. And I thought they did a great job with that, and they really focused on the family element and what would really happen in these situations, including the foster system. What is her name? Tia Carrera. She was like the love interest in Wayne's World, and she's been in a ton of things. I think it's Tia. Is it Tia? I can't remember. When I saw her name pop up at the end, all I could think of was Ballroom Blitz because she plays it in Wayne's World. And I was just thinking about it every time she showed up on screen. She was the social worker in this. But then we got Mr. Bubbles. We got Agent Bubbles came back. Tyler, I love this. I love this so much. This movie had so much heart and so much just positive vibes overall in a crushingly sad, very real, situation, watching this poor girl try to fight through and make money and keep the house afloat and take care of her sister as a mom, but as a sister, while sacrificing her dream to become a marine biologist and getting a full ride, but not being able to do it. But then to have supportive neighbors to go like, remember, we're not just neighbors, like the whole time being like, we got you. We're here to support you. I cried. Like, I'm getting choked up thinking about it right now. I cried like 20 times during this thing. Part of it was nostalgia taking over. Part of it was like, oh man, this story, it's so good. But then to see like people being supportive and being kind and being uplifting and just helping each other out in a difficult situation, and then reaching a level of understanding when it doesn't seem like there's going to be a level of understanding is something I think we all need right now. And I left just feeling like really good, like emotionally high, even though I was crying. A lot of it was happy, sad, and some of it was just sad. But a lot of it was, God, it was funny and frustrating to watch. Like frustrating. They did a great job of making Stitch a very frustrating character, because all I could think of is like, oh my God, this is a toddler. This is just toddler. Stitch is just toddler. It's just like, hey, I put that away, smash, throw it around, fling it around. Like, oh my God. I was getting mad watching it, going like, put it away. Thinking about like, it's just life, man. But I thought it was great. Totally worth the watch for those of you that don't want to go see it or can't, because we got summer blockbuster after blockbuster coming out in theaters now, and it's pushing all the older films out. Lilo and Stitch is still in theaters. It's been out there since Memorial Day weekend. And if you can catch it, it's a great watch to go have a good feeling family movie. And can't recommend it highly enough, especially if you like the original. I thought they did a very faithful adaptation. What are you going to do? It's live action. You can't have everything in it that's in a cartoon. But I thought the core of it's all still there. And there's a lot of great shout outs to the original, including Snow Cone Guy. Also in this movie was great. Tyler, I want to hear your thoughts about what I said, but before I do, I gotta break some news to you. You asked about the Foothills Mall where I went to see this at the AMC location. There is no mall. That mall has been gone for about a year. It's completely demolished to the ground. Barnes and Noble, AMC, that's it. So all the little strip mall with the Greek restaurant in it, Papuli's and GameStop, or I don't even know if I said that name right. I have no idea. I have another name for it, which I'm not allowed to say on air. that building, that strip mall kind of got relocated, and there's a parking lot in an apartment complex, and they're putting in this like boutique shops and stuff. That area is going to be so cool when it opens up. It's awesome. But driving into it, I didn't know where I was. We turned right into the parking lot, kind of where the Fox and the Hound used to be, and toward that strip mall area where it was like before it was just mall parking, Babies R Us and all that stuff, all completely filled with buildings, and the road is different. Absolutely crazy scene over at the Foothills Mall, what used to be the Foothills Mall, because there's remnants of it. When you go into the AMC, and I'm sure Barnes and Noble still, when you go to like that wall where you used to go into the mall, it's just like a big shutter is still down, but there's just nothing back there. I think there's a hallway, and that's it. It's surreal being in that space. I thought they were going to revitalize the mall. What it turned out to be was, we're going to revitalize the area and invest it in something that might work a little better, like small boutique shops, and get people to want to show up to go to the little shopping area. That's like a niche shopping area, give some good dining options, have a movie theater right there, and give people a reason to want to go there, rather than mall, where you're assaulted by the cell phone kiosk and the whatever else is in the middle there, like the random, I'm in the center aisle doing some like perfume sales or hair product thing. Get out of here with that. But I do miss the Ross being right there. I'm not
the Ross. Yes. That it was always so jarring.
Party City.
It was always so jarring going to that AMC, because if you entered through the mall entrance as opposed to the AMC entrance, you would just see just the ruins of, oh man, all of these shops are closed. It's kind of like going to
kind of killed it.
Yeah.
And then the outlet mall is dying. Like all the shops I like there are gone.
Once the Nike outlet store moved from Foothills to the I know it's Tucson Premium Outlets, but it's in Marana. Once that happened, I feel like that kind of set off a chain of events where, and really maybe, Brad, if we're to track, you said, you reminded us that the first Lilo and Stitch came out in 2002, which is just stuck in my mind. Like, wow, it's been 20 plus years. Yeah, back in 2002, malls were really the epicenter of culture in our society.
And even that was starting to shift, right? Like that was MP3 players became the thing, and Sam Goody closed, and
so much has shifted.
City.
So much has shifted since the first Lilo and Stitch. Right. I still think that if you and I, maybe if we recruited about 100 of our listeners, if we would have put all of our fortune into revitalizing Foothills Mall, whether our audience members live in Arizona or not, if they would just trust us with their monies, we could have really, I don't know, maybe revitalized this. But apparently, to your point, which doesn't surprise me at all, there's going to be shops, there's housing. I think there's still a Walmart there.
Yes,
correct me if I'm wrong.
Walmart's still there. Yeah,
that's that Walmart. Of course. That's probably pretty.
That's the only one. There's the Cortera one, and then there's the one in Oro Valley, but that's the closest one to that area.
Right. Yeah, if you go to the one on Broadway by the movie theater, that's too far. Yeah. What a time! I'm glad you had a good Lilo and Stitch experience. I have no doubt that if I see this movie, tears will be shed. I shared with you months ago my ability to hold back or fight tears when watching these kind of films. I just lost that ability probably about a year ago.
Yeah.
So I fully expect that I would have a similar experience too. Yeah, these movies are really well done because it just, and I'm just saying that having not even seen this one yet, it just really speaks to you. And like you said, this time we're living in, when we have stories about working together, about love, about sticking up for people, it really hits you a certain way. At least I know it does for me now more than ever.
Yeah. And I was sharing with you, I'll have another one next weekend, maybe, if we can squeeze it in. We got a lot of wrestling to talk about today and next weekend, especially when we have 87 events plus regular TV. We're going to be up late, I think. Probably not as late as I was today, but we're going to be up late. I'm going to see Superman pre-opening night, and I will be able to talk about that next week. I can't wait. The early reviews are hopeful and incredible movie, and all of the things you want to hear coming out of it. And I trust James Gunn as a filmmaker. He just makes really good stuff and totally understands how to take characters that shouldn't work on screen and make us really care about them and make them work. Or we wouldn't have had 3 Guardians of the Galaxy movies. We would have had one and then talked about how, no, we shouldn't have had a talking tree and a talking raccoon on the screen with a professional wrestler running around in body paint. Instead, look what Dave Bautista's career has become, bringing it full circle. Tyler, but we got to get into it. It's time to move on. This is a lot of fun. Now it's on to business. And for you, I know the business we got to talk about is the most important kind of business. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time.
Steph Watch.
That's right. It's time for Steph Watch, Brad. Let's start here before we preview the weekend. And actually, my Steph Watch will be kind of a pseudo preview. So Stephanie Bacchia declared for the Battle Royal.
Deployed, really, yeah.
The last Monday Night's Raw. I'm upset because I did not see this on my Netflix stream of Raw. The internet told me that she declared in a segment, which I did verify. But regardless, whether I was able to see it here in the US on my Netflix stream of Raw or not, it is true that La Primera declared for the Battle Royal that will take place at Sunday's highly anticipated all-women's premium live event, Evolution 2. We don't know the full field of competitors just yet as of this recording, but Bacchia will likely be one of, if not the favorite or favorites to win the entire match. I hope this will have a number one contender stipulation. I think she would be a perfect challenger for the winner of Evolution 2's main event, IYO SKY or Rhea Ripley. I could totally see the Rhea Ripley versus Steph Care program being huge business for the company this summer. But also, if it's IYO versus Steph too, that would be tremendous because we didn't get a winner during that first match. So regardless, very excited for La Primera. She must win this weekend. I'm calling it. She gets it done. She wins the Battle Royal, and it'll only be up from here.
Oh, that sounds so exciting. I want this for you. Win. I want this for us. I want this for me, really. Yeah. I kind of can't wait. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. I can't wait to see it.
It's going to be awesome. Build aside, but we'll roll that right into my WWE question, Brad. As you said, it is another massive weekend for the company. I want to know, what are your thoughts on IYO SKY's ascension over the last year? And given the lack of title defenses she's had during this reign, unfortunately, would it be a mistake for her to lose to Rhea Ripley on Sunday?
Ooh, that's a tough question. Where are the locations for the next WWE events for the next big PLEs?
Yeah, well, we got SummerSlam in New Jersey. Okay. First 2 nights SummerSlam. That's happening in August. Yeah, I think that's the next one, Brad.
Okay, we have Survivor Series in San Diego.
Right.
Evolution is in Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Okay, so yeah, I was trying to say, like, if we were going back to Perth or something, I would be like, no, Rhea's obviously the move, but like in Perth, she'd have to win it there, right? Like, not defend it there. I don't think that would have the same.
Australia's own.
Yeah.
You don't think it's a guarantee that she's winning this weekend?
I kind of hope not, but like they've done everything I think they can to make IYO look silly, and then come out on top. Anyway, but I just feel like that whole run where she was in the triple threat and was it the afterthought, and that was the storyline, was she was the afterthought.
The WrestleMania triple threat, the opener, yes. Bianca v Rhea v IYO.
I haven't gotten over that.
The match of the weekend. Yeah.
You can't, fantastic. It was incredible, but you can't like make her, and it wasn't like it was the first time they ran that, right? Like they just kept doing it, but it was always, she's the afterthought. She's the afterthought. She's the afterthought. But if you're going to be like constantly the afterthought, Tyler, it doesn't matter if you win, if you're still the afterthought. You've built this person as the afterthought. Okay, they won, but they're the afterthought. I think the best way to get that taste out of their mouth is to be like, I'm done being the afterthought, and she whooped that ass and beat Rhea Ripley. Like that's the best way to move on from that. But they're going to protect Rhea. So if it does happen, there's going to be tomfoolery. So either Rhea is definitely going to win, but she's going to have to kill IYO SKY to do it. Maybe Asuka turns on IYO. Maybe we get maybe Kyrie turns on IYO. I don't know. Maybe something happens there where one of her friends flips. But we'll see what happens. But what do you do to not diminish what IYO has done if she loses? Like, what's next for IYO?
Mm-hmm.
forget Rhea. Rhea, we know what's next for Rhea. Rhea, main title picture, the end. Yeah. But what's next for Io if Io loses? I just don't see her doing much of anything. Like, she's going to get buried in that mix of supreme talent that they're still trying to build, like the Julia and Stephanie, and you got all this other talent that's just still there. Becky, Bailey.
So even after her ascension, because you and I agree, this is documented. You and I agree that over the last year, she's really ascended to a new tier of right. Like, she went viral with the EO entrance gimmick, and her work has been spectacular. Like,
she's incredible. She's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time.
Yeah. And I think she's just really transcended and really resonated with the audience in a new way. She's always been, no pun intended, a genius worker. But I think her stars, it just shines differently now, which, to your point, as a fellow IYO SKY fan, makes me so elated for her. My question for you then is, so even with that ascension, you suspect or you worry that if she does drop the title on Sunday, which I think is going to happen, that she could get back into that mix of being an afterthought or being lost in the shuffle, even though she's ascended? You think if she loses this weekend, she could go back to, a few weeks from now, what's Io doing? What's the Io match at SummerSlam?
Okay, so different company, I understand, but let's Io drops, right? Okay, Io loses.
I think so.
And then, I don't know, other people that have a faster, brighter rising star. Stephanie Vaquer, kind of hard to argue that it's not to the moon. And there's other people on the roster. I really liked what I know Alexa Bliss and what Charlotte are doing together is fun, because it's intriguing, especially putting those two together after what happened years ago that we remember. I love that storyline's kind of paying itself off. I think that stuff's really cool. Where does she go? And all I can think is, like, former world champ, loses, kind of gets lost. Thunder Rosa is like an ROH star now, and is beefing with another ROH star, Athena, who better get on that main roster. Both of them could easily be in the title picture right now today. But they're doing things for another TV program and are getting thrown in multi-woman matches on AEW, but not necessarily singles matches unless it's a special event kind of thing, which is cool that it feels special that we get to see Athena, but it hasn't felt special that we get to see Thunder Rosa nearly as much, because I think there's a lot of fans that, if you were a new fan, she was gone for 2 years with her back injury. That's really what the problem is there. But I'm afraid that, like, that former world champ is just going to be another person. And I don't want that to happen with Io. Because Liv's going to come back in, who knows how long, 9 months, 7 months, hopefully sooner. Hopefully she recovers quickly. Asuka's back. I still don't really know where she fits in with all of this picture stuff. Does she go after another top title? Does she go for a mid-card title?
And as you said, Kairi Sane is also, okay, she's in the mix. We got the vignette. Where does she?
Zelina Vega is, she held gold, and she's just sort of, hers has been the most criminal of all of them. We got the moment of her winning 2 years later.
Transitional champ Jones.
And it sucks. That sucks, because she's awesome.
Yeah.
In all the facets. And so I'm getting mad. I'm worried about it because there's just so much great talent on the show. I don't want her to get lost. Do I have faith that Triple H won't screw this up? Yeah, I kind of do. Do I have faith that we're not just going to, like, make racial factions? No, I don't have any faith, because we do it all the time. Oh, look, the LWO. Are you an L? Get in there. Like, we're going to make the AWO next and just get all of the A's in there. Are we going to get, like, that's what I'm afraid of, because they like to do that stuff because it's easy, because we have already done it. Asuka, Kairi, and Io in a faction. Asuka and Kairi were tag partners before Kairi got brutally murdered and then went to New Japan for several years during the pandemic, when she got, like, thrown into the garage and beaten down in the back. Was that Bailey? And it was Bailey and Sasha, right?
Wow, that's a throwback.
The golden role models were tag champs. Yeah, the heroes of the pandemic era, the absolute legends of the pandemic era. They held that whole thing together, man. Them and the Miz, for some reason, are like the best parts that came out of that whole era. That's crazy. And then we got Roman back. But anyway, I digress.
It was only 5 years ago.
Yeah. I can't think of anybody right now off the top of my head, but there's just people that are, they have a lot of people in there. Everybody talks about Nat going to NWA and doing cool stuff in NWA, but like, where's she in WWE? And she better be prominently featured at Evolution, like prominently featured. She deserves it and is a legend for it, but also another person that's just sort of, there you are.
Yeah.
So,
and it's really a shame that this point has been made over and over the last week and plus now that Evolution 2 is so close. It's really a shame that this doesn't feel like a bigger event and that the builds weren't longer to get here, because so many fans have been looking forward to running this event back. It's finally here. I think by the end of the weekend, I mean, of course, All In is going to be its own experience for AEW that I know you and I are very excited for. But when we were talking WWE, I mean, it's unquestioned for us here at GI that Evolution 2 is the event to see this weekend. We're getting Jade versus Naomi, which would be awesome. I suspect Jade wins, and then Naomi for sure cashes in on her at SummerSlam.
Agreed.
I think that's just the way to go. Predictable isn't always bad. This main event is going to be awesome.
Feud's been fun. That feud has been fun.
Both have been. Naomi's been doing the best work of her career. I was completely wrong on the heel turn. This is exactly.
Oh man, I knew this. I've been wanting this for forever, and I was like, this is going to be great when she goes heel.
Yeah. And she's going to cost Jade. It's going to be great. But the main event, obviously, that we're speaking of with Io and Rhea, because you and I last week were kind of workshopping or forecasting. Oh, what is the main event of this really important event going to be? Okay, well, you're taking two of your top stars, Io versus Rhea. The match is going to be great. Again, I suspect the last shot of the event is going to be Rhea, arguably your biggest star in the company. Women's division, men's division, just star. She's arguably the biggest. I put her up against anybody. She holds that title. Okay, that's how you go home from Atlanta. But then for Io, like you said, I have a little more confidence that she's going to be taken care of, because I think she is a foundational piece of the company now after this reign, even though you could argue her title reign proves, well, how much do they value her if she barely defended the title and she was on TV. But anyway, I think the move for SummerSlam is going to be Rhea Ripley versus Stephanie Vaquer. I'm going to slot that in. I think that is going to be the match for New Jersey. I'm so excited for this event. I can't wait.
I hope they pivot with Io and Rhea and make it more interesting going into it. I would love them to be like, no, I don't think you can do this. You're like Io going like, you're way bigger than me. You're way stronger than me. You can't outlast me. Wow. Iron Woman match.
Wow.
Or best of three, and
look at that.
First to two falls wins. I would love. How cool would that? Because then you could have or I don't want a lumberjack match or anything like that, but I can also see Io winning, and like the women legends coming out to congratulate them, and then Rhea doing the hug or a handshake or something like that,
right?
Acknowledging that she beat her,
and then if we flip
babyface, and then you end with two baby faces. No controversy. It's fine. And then you celebrate.
I'm here for it.
And then you get to end with all the women in the ring celebrating the win. And I think that would be a good way to go off air.
And if we're to follow this theory, my last thought on this subject, if I'm wrong and Rhea loses to Io this weekend, which I'm not opposed to, where does Rhea go from here? We know there is no denying Rhea is a foundational piece for this company. It's crazy to think that she's still so young, right? She hasn't even hit 30 yet. I think, and she even said this on Raw, if I'm not mistaken, she is past the Judgment Day beef. So one way or the other, when she leaves this match, we are not revisiting Rhea versus Raquel Part 8 or anything of the sort. I'm very excited, Brad. I can't wait for this event. It's pretty surreal that it's finally here, and I'm just very, very excited to see how it all plays out. And hopefully this week between Raw and SmackDown, even throwing NXT on there, hopefully to your point, we maybe get some additional stipulations or just some extra oomph added to these matches that are on the card.
Yeah, I would love to see her go after a mid-card title too. I think it would be fun to see
Rhea that
different.
Is.
Yeah. Look at what Gunther did with the Intercontinental title.
Certainly.
I could absolutely see Rhea doing that, building up the mid-card. We know that big belt is the important one. Well, which big belt? There's just too many belts. So it feels like, what is your upper topmost level belt? And what title is the title to chase? Because with the men's title, it was, we created this new title and this is the title to chase. And we're like, it's not really the title to chase. It's the other one. It's the Roman and Cody title is the title to chase. And it's now the Cena title to chase. The other one's cool, but it's not this one over here. And that's because of how they've used the people going after it, which makes it go like, all right, well, clearly this one's the most important one. You can call it equal, whatever you want to call it. It's not, because you just run back the same feuds over and over again over on this side. And on this side, you're giving us fresh stuff all the time. So really, I don't know, really interesting with that stuff. But I could see Rhea going after, Intercontinental or US. And I think that could be fun, especially if it's Julia or Stephanie that are involved. I think Rhea and Chelsea would be fun. Like, I think it could be really fun.
Taking out the secret Hervis.
Yes. I think it would just be a lot of fun. I think it would be a lot of fun. I think Chelsea Green is awesome. You know how I feel about her. And we've talked about it on many occasions, but better get into it. Tyler. So the WWE is running counter programming against AEW's All In next weekend. This could be an interesting question, but I'd rather focus on something more important to both of us. So on the 13th, we're getting Evolution 2. So give me a temperature check for the build to the event.
It's improved within the last week because matches have been added and we have a semblance of a direction. We know the main event. We know Jade versus Naomi, so on and so forth. Obviously, Jordan Grace versus JC Jane as well. That should be fun. But temperature check wise, it's a shame. I mean, it speaks to the success of WWE that they have so many events, and they have events on different countries, on different continents. So obviously, business is still very good for them. However, as a fan, temperature check the build to the event, it still isn't giving what I wanted it to give. I'm just so excited for the talent. I'm so excited that we get to see this event happen. But temperature check wise, man, it's I thought we'd be at a very different place than where we are, as we record this a week out from this really historic opportunity. So not happy about it, but by the time a week from now, right, we're recording on a Sunday, by the time we get to, Sunday morning of Evolution 2, I think spirits are going to be up and we're going to get a card that is in a much better spot, obviously, than maybe what we suspected a week or two ago when there was really no hype around this event. But overall, I still think it's a huge shame that more wasn't put into this. But again, I think it's a product of WWE having a lot going on right now between Fanatics Fest, between Crown Jewel, between, like you said, NXT Great American Bash, and we gotta build Goldberg versus Gunther for Saturday night's main event.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on right now. For me, I care so much more about Evolution 2 than anything else I just mentioned. I'm not sure if that's unique to my viewing habits, but I tend to think it's not. It's a shame. It's a bit of an indictment.
It's mine too, but I don't know.
It's a bit of an indictment, but I am certainly more optimistic now that we're getting a better picture of what's going to happen on this card. Trish Stratus is coming back. Obviously, Nikki Bella promises to be in the mix here. I feel much more optimistic now than I did during last week's gimmick infringement, but I'm still not happy about how it's been built as a bit of an afterthought, in my opinion. I think the women deserve better than that.
I agree. They need to treat it like WrestleMania in the long-term planning sense. I'm not saying like make it be the same level of spectacle and expense, because honestly, I'd like to think that there's more people like you and I out there who, for me, I'd just assume watch women's wrestling over men's wrestling, because I like the athleticism that the women bring to the table overall more than what the men typically do, at least in WWE. In AEW, it's sort of like across the board. Everybody's just freakishly athletic and can do some crazy stuff. I also know that in WWE, they don't use the wrestlers quite the same way, because the early screen recording of the Undertaker for the NES game was of him doing moonsaults. Because he was just out there doing all these backflips and doing all these things for the wrestling game, so people could get a video of what it looks like. Dude could go, and we know Cena could too. Cena doing Hurricane Ranas and all this stuff. They just don't use them that way. So maybe it's that, but I worry a little bit, like, and I'm not saying AEW does this, but All In, okay? All In, the first, well, technically the second All In, the first AEW All In, because the first All In wasn't AEW, it was just All In, sponsored by ROH, really. That first All In at Wembley, okay? Then we had another one. And now we have another one in Texas, because we couldn't get Wembley because I can't remember who's there. It's not Coldplay. It's somebody, maybe it was Coldplay. Somebody adjacent to that same genre is playing over there, and they had it marked out for years to play at Wembley. So Tony Khan was like, I just couldn't get in, and I'm not going to fight it. Like, let them do their thing. I worry that we will take Evolution to do this novelty thing and to put on a show for women. Maybe it's as successful as they think it will be. Maybe it's not. And maybe they go like, well, it's not going to be an annual thing. It's going to be a every 4 months thing. And we beat Evolution into the dirt so that it feels less special. How many one night stand shows were there? Were there 2 or 3?
I believe just 2.
I believe just 2 as well. If they rented out the ballroom and announced one night stand, sold out in 3 seconds, and that show would be nuts, right? Like, we're all tuning into that. Like, every one of us, if we're getting an ECW show, we're all watching that show at the end. Yeah. And I could absolutely see that happen before Paul Heyman hangs it up. Getting an ECW show in there, getting Sandman just breaking his face open with a beer can up in the crowd and shambling his way over a barricade. You're going to get the Dudleys there. I could still see all that stuff working, but I don't want Evolution to happen, become an afterthought, because the booking has felt like an afterthought. I think the show is going to be great. I think the performers are going to be great. I think there's going to be a ton of surprises, and it's a celebration of women's wrestling. So you and I both, I think, agree on all accounts. Great move. Super excited. More excited about that show than almost anything. Although the card for All In has me real excited. For the WWE shows, by far, this is the most excited I've been for a PLE for a long time. Outside of maybe last year's WrestleMania. This is the one that I'm looking forward to the most. We've been begging for this for years.
We have.
But they announced it like a month ago.
Yeah, and
it's in a week.
And it's a part of a larger package. Yeah. Of the weekend. And again, that's the new WWE model, because they can do it. Business is that good where, okay, we're just going to take over the city of Atlanta. Mind you, the same weekend as a Beyonce concert.
Yes.
Which I don't know if you want to counter program your All Women's show with Beyonce. I think there could be some cool overlap there. But regardless, it's a part of a larger package of, okay,
people are struggling with Beyonce right now.
You're getting Great American Bash. You're getting Saturday night's main event, All in Hotlanta. And then the next night you're getting Evolution. I want Evolution to be its own, dare I say, its own SummerSlam. This is its own.
Exactly what
the only show, the only PLE we're running this weekend is Evolution.
We got 2 of them plus this other thing. You're
10,000
welcome.
seat arena, not 5,000, because we would have built several weeks in advance to really make sure the hype is there. And that is the show in this weekend, not a third of a larger slice of shows you're going to get. That's just my thoughts on it. I really think this could have been a much bigger deal. And like you said, Brad, we've been asking for it for years, whether it's WWE, whether it's AEW running their first women's all show. I think they had that opportunity and really could have done something cool there. Maybe it's still to come. We'll see. It's wild to think NWA kind of won this corner when they ran the Empower show in 2021.
Yes.
Like, I don't think we've ever said NWA and Foresight in the same thought.
Right.
But shout out to them, because that actually felt like they really invested in what that event was going to be. and what it turned out to be, of course. So we'll see.
Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis were both still on that roster, right?
Wow.
Like they were both there.
That was only 2021. Well, Mickey James played an integral part in that.
Yes.
I think Deonna Purrazzo versus Melina was the main event.
That sounds right.
Of that show. Yeah.
That's crazy.
I'm excited. I just think this is Evolution, once again, is strong enough to be its own standalone big event versus being a third of a larger weekend. But Brad, I'm a 30-something single guy who co-hosts a podcast. WWE, I guarantee you, this weekend is going to report record revenue for Saturday night's main event.
Oh, we're going to clap
record gates. So I just am a fan with opinions. I would imagine this weekend, Paul Levesque and others will prove why this was a good decision. We shall see. I'm excited for the show.
It's in Atlanta. I can't think of much.
It's where the players play.
Much more of a wrestling hub than Atlanta, Georgia. Like Atlanta, it's sort of WCW Central, right? Turner Central,
Power Plant Jones.
I was just thinking about the power plant too. There's a lot of wrestling around that area. It's the South. I think people are going to show up and show out. And I think a lot of people are going to be supportive. You have to have Naomi Jade in Atlanta. So it's one of the blackest cities in America. You have to have Jade and Naomi in there.
Sure. I can't.
That should main event, but there's no titles on the line.
Yeah, it could in a different.
Yeah. I mean, like, would it be great? I don't know how great it's going to be, but like, I don't think it's going to steal the show. But the story is certainly the best story, I think, going into it.
I believe they've moved about 4,500 tickets as of this recording, kind of closing in on 5,000. I think 6,000 is currently where it's capped, but I certainly hope they get to that number and even more.
To your point, do it a different weekend, and you could have 20.
And it's its own standalone. It's not a part of a package. It's not second to Goldberg's retirement, respectfully. It is the show to go to. But
it'd be fun to have one of those and do a mixed tag on it. Like that'd be the show if you're going to do a mixed tag, to have a mixed tag, because I know people have talked about it. What if you get Asuka and Penta facing off again? Like we can dream. I don't know if that's ever going to happen. Ethically, probably. I don't think that's. I don't know. Watching those clips, I'm still thinking about who was it? Was it Candace that Cedric did the lumbar check to?
It was Candice LeRae who took the infamous lumbar check.
Oh, gosh, to the ceiling, man. Absolutely crazy. I don't know what happened there, but I know we got to talk about what happened here. Tyler, the courts deliberated. The courts decided. Lube up. This is going to get rough. It's time for What Happened Here, Diddy edition.
What happened here?
Couldn't help myself.
Yeah, you could not. Okay, so what happened here? In case you missed it, hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs was found not guilty of 3 of 5 charges in New York court, most notably not guilty of sex trafficking and racketeering charges, the most heavy of which he was possibly going to face conviction. He could face now a maximum of 5 to 10 years in prison. We shall see. Brad, there were 8 men and 4 women on the jury, and Diddy's defense in their closing argument claimed that when we're looking at this relationship, Cassie won. She had already received a $30 million payout. They did not deny that Combs was a domestic abuser. There is obviously footage of this, particularly what CNN released last year in a hotel, allegedly during a freak off where Cassie was running away from it because she did not want to partake. But Diddy literally finds her, assaults her, and brings her back into said room. Incredibly jarring and terrible. And many think that Diddy really won, regardless of what's to come, if he will serve time, how much time. The fact that he was found not guilty of the most serious charges. There's a lot of dialogue going on right now, not only about celebrity worship, which is something I think about and how I partake in that, and particularly for Diddy, as someone who I definitely looked up to as a kid. I had the clothes, I had Sean John, watched Making the Band, all that. but particularly
bumped him on the way to school every day.
Yeah, music. We didn't even talk about the discography.
Yeah.
Of course, the prosecution. There's been a lot of conversation around, for folks who thought Diddy was going to be found guilty of more, how do we divide the blame pie chart, if you will? Some folks are saying the prosecution really overstepped and they were really trying to go hard against, say, on those RICO charges, but that was never going to be the move. Yeah. Then you have other folks who are putting the blame on the jury and how it was predominantly men. And when textual evidence was provided of Cassie and Diddy's former partner of a decade plus, and then another woman, I think she was identified as just Jane in court filings. In text messages, they are telling Diddy, hey, I'm looking forward to the freak off, or let's do this, or let's try this time. And I think the worry now from the prosecution was that evidence, as damning as the video evidence from the hotel of Diddy assaulting Cassie was, the text evidence of Cassie and this other partner that Diddy had seemingly wanting to partake in these freak offs, that really worked against the prosecution and really resonated with the jury that maybe the women were consenting to this. But then there's a larger conversation of, in a relationship involving domestic abuse, it's not as cut and dry as that. So Brad, that being said, obviously this was all over the news and I'm still processing all of it. It's complicated. It is one of the biggest celebrity lawsuits and trials of the decade thus far. Curious to hear what you think, the fallout, the celebrity of it all, and where we go from here.
Parallels to Vince McMahon, right? Like there's just
certainly. Yes.
I just feel like there's payouts, there's cover-ups, there's no, you signed this. No, it wasn't this. It was consenting. It was all these. It's like power is power and an abuse of power is an abuse of power. But we're in 2025 in America where abuse of power gets celebrated, recognized, and elected president. So here we are. I used to like drive to school. Shout out to Jen, by the way. Jen S, if she ever sees this. I used to drive to school with her. She was older than I was. She had her own car. I didn't want to take the bus. And we would listen to Mo Money, Mo Problems on the way to school. Like through a spot about that big on the frosted window, just going through inches of snow, trying to see as our breath makes it worse inside the car. It's not hot yet. Just death on wheels. I think about it a lot. Like, what were we doing? We're just, if you lived in the Midwest or live in the Midwest, you totally understand like the window. I only need this much to go. And like, that's it. You scrape that one spot and get the hell out of there if you're in a hurry. I think about that and go like, how did you produce a song like that? And then not use that to predict your own future. And I think that's really something that stands out to me is he's been telling this since the mid 90s, that this is kind of the way it is. Like, yeah, I got all this money. I got a lot of problems because of it, because I like to do these things. We didn't really know about that part. We make jokes about it. It gets referred to a lot, but like secretly, right? Like I don't know when Eminem put that lyric in Fuel. I don't know when he did that. I don't know if that was before the arrests, after the arrest, or the manhunt, or whatever. I don't know when that got written down, but it kind of seems like people have been dropping hints and saying stuff, but not directly, right? And that's the part I think is the most important thing here, is nobody wants to say the thing out loud because they're afraid of what's going to happen if they do. Their career will be shot. Their reputation will get tarnished somehow because of the people that are attending these parties, doing these nefarious things, consensually, allegedly. But okay, well, I'm not going to this because I don't want to go to this because it's all gross what happens there. I don't want to be a part of that. Okay, but don't say anything to anybody or I'll ruin your career, or show up to this thing or else. It's kind of like, I don't ever want to be a successful business person, Tyler, because I don't want to freaking golf. I have no interest in going golfing whatsoever. And people are like, oh, you got to know how to golf if you're going to go. Like, why?
You're going to secure the deal.
No, it's the bag. No, let's just go get food. Let's sit around a table.
Let's go to Culinary Dropout. They have cornhole.
Culinary Dropout. Yeah, I'd rather play cornhole, or go to axe throwing or something. Like do something that, or go do something productive. Like, hey, let's meet while we volunteer. Like do something. Not golfing. Freaking golfing. That sounds terrible.
Wow.
Like just dreadful. So when people are in power and people are afraid of losing the power they've accumulated, stuff like this is allowed to happen. And now that we've systematically destroyed education and we systematically destroyed journalism and our trust in media, we no longer have any of these outlets to hold these people that are in power accountable, because now the courts are failing us. The Supreme Courts are being altered in a way to allow people that get elected to do whatever they want with impunity. And now people that have like an overwhelming volume of evidence that says these things are happening also not being convicted. Now, I'm not saying that the freak off stuff sounds super complicated. And to your point, there was no denial. I don't want to say there was an admission, but there was no denial of the things that he had done. Trafficking's a big deal. Maybe it wasn't trafficking. Maybe it was just like, no, these people were invited there and they did it consensually. We paid them. Whatever we asked, they showed up. Maybe that is in fact what happened. And like at that point, okay, all the stuff is kind of gross and were laws broken? I don't know. But when something like the Vince McMahon trial, where I don't see any other way, right? I'm 19. My parents died. I don't see any way to survive in this apartment complex. Oh, Vince McMahon will pay for it for me. All I got to do is X, Y, and Z, and this is your only option. Of course, people are going to take that because they need to survive. So when it becomes a matter of survival, the power all goes into the person that's abusing it. And now you have this powerful person accumulating power, and all we're doing by finding not guilty verdicts. And I don't want to needlessly send people to jail either, but like when we do this, it's sort of this like passive permission to go ahead and continue on. Just make sure you do this next time. Make sure you sign a waiver. Make sure you dot some I's and cross some T's. And then you can do these on the line crime things. But everybody will consent to it, even though they're only doing it with the pressure of power and the pressure of maybe something bad will happen if I don't. And that's the part that I don't think you can account for, because by the letter of the law, maybe nothing happened there that was terribly illegal in those senses. But why was it allowed to happen? That's where things get murky. And I think just people having power for power's sake and then nobody holding the power accountable is why we're in this mess in the first place, and why the national debt keeps spooling up, and why we're doing record gates and out in the streets clapping and celebrating that a big, beautiful bill got passed while the healthcare nationally is destroyed and food stamps go away. So anyway, I'm really excited about pro wrestling, Tyler. I don't know. I feel like I said too much there. I was feeling some anger swelling in me when you asked me. I just got mad.
Well, and you,
because I really like that song and I can't listen to it anymore.
Yeah, it's actually a great
so
before
good.
School playlist edition. Yeah,
shout out to you for that. Yeah.
Well, and you mentioned earlier, I think at the beginning of our episode, with July 4th and how particularly this July 4th.
That and Hypnotized, to be clear.
There you go.
Okay, go ahead.
The feelings around the holiday are nuanced, particularly this summer, and for the reasons you just listed around healthcare and education. It's just a very odd time to be here. And like you, I just want people I care about, and even people I don't know, I just want everyone to be safe, to have access to healthcare and a quality education. And the fight continues for these very important topics, man. Because like you said, there's just a lot happening right now that I know I mentioned this a lot. It's kind of my go-to. I like Black Mirror. It's an entertaining Netflix series for me. I don't want that to be everyday life. I'm concerned that, to your point, there are some very nefarious actions happening, and it's very concerning, man. It's extremely concerning.
And I love our country, and I think that's why people have feelings about it. It's because we love it. It's how to love it is the part we're fighting over now.
And the importance of having these conversations of how do we make it better for everyone
without getting what I just did, just getting mad. But I'm not having a conversation. I'm venting. So shout out to Carl. Shout out to Carl Siegloff. He texted me happy Independence Day, picture of his flag on his porch on the pole. I've had a flagpole and a mount And I have the flag that I got it on September 12th, 2001 at Walmart when I was at work. I got the last one that was on the strip, and I got home and my parents already had one out. Like they went and bought one while I was at work. So when I grabbed one, I already had it. So I had an extra one that also made the trip out to Arizona with me. Look
at that. My parents have the flag out all the time. And definitely on July 4th, but also just on a random Thursday because they're proud to live here and want this country to be better.
And same. And I want to put it out. This is my problem, Tyler. Jess does not want a flag on the house. She's like, she just doesn't want a pole. I don't want it on the house. It'll look bad. I don't want a pole on the house. It's not even like America on the house. It's just the pole itself. She wants it somewhere else. And she doesn't want it like messing with the vibe of the house. It's like, it's American. It's Old Glory, man. So I'm going to bust
out that Old Navy t-shirt at least.
I brought the pole out and the mount, and I was like, I think I'm going to mount it on the garage on the side. This was 4th of July morning. She was like, no, I don't think so. That was it. So I've had conversations with Carl about this. He was like, well, that is awkward. And that was kind of the end of it. And I've been looking for where to put it. And can I buy a thing for the pole I already have? Mm-hmm. They're not going to take it back. I bought this when we lived at the old house. It's not going back to the store. So like parts of it are yellowing because it's so old. And it's just in my garage. So if anybody needs a flagpole in the Marana area, I got you. It's a really nice one too. Tyler, we got to talk AEW. I know A could be America, but it's all Elite Wrestling today. 1 hour in. Once again, bring in the content for the viewers and the listeners.
That's what we attempt to do every single week. Brad, here we go. AEW All In Texas. Speaking of events that we've been looking forward to for quite some time, it's going down this Saturday. For your calendar's sake, for our Arizona audience, this event will happen at noon Arizona time. So make sure you are ready to go. Brad, I'm going to go right into my question here. Whose undefeated streak is more likely to come to an end this Saturday? Mercedes Moné or Kazuchika Okada?
Man, more likely I'm going to say Okada.
Interesting. Wow.
I think
Mercedes is beating Tony Storm.
Oh, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying more likely. I'm not saying that she is.
Okay, so do you think both are losing this weekend?
I don't know if either of them lose this weekend.
Wow.
I don't know. Like
it could go either way.
I don't
really
know.
Could.
This is one of the times where I'm legitimately intrigued about what they're going to do because the Kenny Omega Kazuchika Okada fight, I think is a clear Kenny win. And it's only because of how they've been building Kenny getting his ass beat for the last month and a half, 2 months. So I think that's probably the tell there is like, or he'll just continue to lose. He's kind of bulletproof at this point, but
he is.
Okada hasn't lost yet and needs to stop at some point. And maybe this is his way to find a meaningful story now that he lost. Cause he's been kind of floating. Is he with the elite? Is he not with the elite? Is he with this? Is he with the Callis family? Is he with what is he doing? So like, I don't really understand where he fits and they got to figure that out. I just like that he's had this run. It's been fun. I like this character that he has now because it didn't slow anything in ring. Nothing changed except he taunts more. But this is going to be great. The fact that both of them are on the belt, delivering the Rainmaker and the One-Winged Angel is crazy to me because it's like, well, who wins this belt? You can't tell just by the belt. There's no giveaway there. They're both on it. Okada hasn't lost, but I kind of feel like this would be the one because Kenny hasn't really won much lately, I think, in anything meaningful since he's been back, especially. So we'll see. I have no idea. Now, Mercedes, belt collecting Mercedes, she hasn't lost. I kind of feel like Tony is going to beat Mercedes. And I can also see Mercedes winning. I don't know what Tony does from there and who's Mercedes' challenger after that, who's left that she hasn't beaten. Because she keeps running through people. And maybe it's Windsor. Maybe Windsor shows up and challenges. Maybe it's Tekla. Maybe it's I don't know who it is. I don't know who the next person is. to challenge Mercedes if Mercedes wins, because she's got 75 belts. She's done the Kenny Omega. And I don't think Adam Cole's walking through that door. So I don't really know what the next move is, dude. Yeah. More likely, I think it's more likely that Okada loses than Kenny, but I kind of feel like they're equal. Like, I think it's 51-49 for both of them.
That close.
Yes.
I have it the other way. I think Mercedes is more likely to lose this weekend. I think the benefit of her losing, I'm pretty sure she inked a 3-year deal, at least with AEW, and we're in year 2 now. If she loses, fan service wise, Toni Storm winning would go hard at Global I Field. I'm 100%. Sure they're gonna be all for Team Tony. If Mercedes loses, she doesn't lose her TBS championship, because this is just for Toni Storm's AEW Women's World Title.
Or her other things.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Right. And then this could also still be what eludes Mercedes. So if we're looking at the rest of this year and then going into 2026, what more is there for Mercedes to do? It is to get that top prize in the division. I think Timeless Toni Storm beats Mercedes this weekend. As you said, Brad, the Okada versus Omega match, I think Okada gets it done. I think he wins. All signs point to Kenny Omega, at least in my mind, getting that victory, getting revenge. But I could see Jack Perry popping up.
Yes,
I could see the young.
Wardlow,
I'm not saying I want
Keith
this
Lee.
next one. Exactly, the Young Bucks. I mean, who knows? I definitely want this to be a fan service opportunity for AEW. I definitely predict that Hangman Page is leaving Texas with the championship. Brad, God help us if he doesn't. If you and I are recording next week and Jon Moxley is still champion, it might be the end of the podcast. I don't know. we won't have to worry about that until, if we have to,
Texas death.
Yeah, literally. So I think there's going to be a lot of fan service moments. At least one can hope. That the locks that I have would be Hangman. I'm going to give Toni Storm that victory. Kenny Omega would be awesome, especially with the brutal assault that Okada administered on him a couple of weeks ago in Denver or in Colorado. I think Okada wins, though. I do. I have it as more of a lock that Mercedes leaves Texas with the L. I think Okada gets it done one way or another, and he leaves as the unified champion.
You think Fletcher's winning, right? For sure.
I do think Kyle Fletcher's beating Adam Cole for the TNT
title.
So, yes.
So that makes sense that Tony would win if you're going to have Hangman win. So you have 2 title changes and 2 retentions.
Hurt Syndicate. Say you? Any chance they lose?
No.
No. Not at all.
You put it on the pre-show if you want. It's over.
Yeah.
Like it's already done.
Yeah. I don't know. Now that we're talking it out, I don't know. Kenny Omega, like you said, he's been so beat down that is it better business for him to win? I mean, he's Kenny freaking Omega, like you said. I don't know. I'm conflicted now.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Mercedes loses. Maybe Kenny Omega wins after.
But Will's lost a whole bunch too. So I feel like it'll be fine. Like it'll be fine. So
what do you think about that match, by the way? Do you Swerve and Ospreay definitively win that one?
I think so.
Young Bucks no longer EVPs in storyline.
Yeah, I think that would be a lot of fun. Because what does the Young Bucks do without their EVP title?
Yeah.
The heel Young Bucks with no power. That could be a fun storyline.
True.
Because they haven't really done anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're there and they're in a story, but they just kind of show up.
Yeah.
They say stuff and then they disappear for a month.
Right.
Show up and kick people in the face, leave, feature somebody, leave for a month. Yeah. Like they've just been in and out so much that like seeing them come back when we went to Double or Nothing out with the Founding Fathers stuff, it felt like
that was fantastic.
It was so good. But when they came out, I was like, oh yeah, the Young Bucks are still here. That was my thought.
Wow.
Because they just like they've been present, but they haven't felt like a part.
And they've been mixed up in this Death Riders situation.
It doesn't make any sense.
And, they kind of look like dweebs next to the
They
Death
ran
Riders.
Away because of the Death Riders. So why are they helping them now? It doesn't make sense.
No. And they want to tear down the company that
I don't know.
They want to tear down the company that hopefully won't have to worry about this following the weekend because the Bucks are going to lose that match against Swerve and Ospreay. I would imagine that opens the show. And then Death Riders lose. I think they lose the trios match. And then I also think, again, Jon Moxley loses to Hangman Page. I changed my mind. I'm going to go Kenny Omega wins. Brad, we just need that. This needs to be about fan service. We love Okada.
Yeah.
Thank you for talking it out with me. I've changed my mind. This is growth. Kenny Omega gets the victory. Who are winning these Casino Gauntlets, though? MJF is the favorite on the men's side, right?
Hey, don't ask me questions here. So out of the current 8 matches listed for All In,
Kenny Omega wins.
Which do you think is the most likely to steal the show? And who do you think will be the surprise entrants in the Casino Gauntlet matches?
Wow. On the women's side, Dr. Britt Baker.
Oh, plural. Yeah, okay, Britt Baker. That's who I was thinking. On the women's
side, Dr. Britt Baker for sure.
Same.
You brought this up or kind of teased it earlier. Athena and Thunder Rosa. They're fighting on Friday. At the ROH Supercard of Honor. I definitely think we see them on Saturday in this Casino Gauntlet. Athena, by the way, in incredible shape, always been great in ring. She's in incredible shape. She is ready to be a top contender in AEW, like you said, imminently. I've just really enjoyed her work as of late. The ladies have really been killing it, including Mina Shirakawa. She was just tremendous at Dynamite 300. But surprises, Britt Baker for sure. I don't know. Do we think Ruby Soho is ready to go?
I'm counting right now, May and June. It'll be almost 7 months since the baby was born. So maybe.
Yeah, we don't want her to rush back. I'm going to go Britt Baker. Lock that in for now. On the men's side, here we go again. Thankfully, Scorpio Sky is back.
Oh,
one of my favorite moments.
That, man. That was so good.
You texted me. You said something to the effect of,
we did this. We made this happen. We did this.
Yeah. It was one of those cases where I knew what right away was going to be before I even opened it, and I'm glad I was right. I love the potential of Skyflight.
Yeah.
Scorpio Sky being the lead in a group that also features Top Flight, Layla Gray, and Christopher Daniels as the pseudo manager. I'm totally here for it.
SCU managing a tag team.
I want this to stick. I really do. Surprises. It has to be Keith Lee. Yeah. He put it out on Twitter that he's healthy and it's not up to him when he returns.
Right.
In Texas. I'm getting chills thinking about this.
Oh, that when that music hits. Yeah, me too. Right there. Yeah,
I'm getting chills. Full rock.
Like
I need it to happen. So I'm going to go on the women's side at the very least. And I'm going to go Keith Lee on the men's side. I don't think either necessarily win the gauntlet matches. I think MJF wins on the men's side. And on the women's side, Brad, the division is so loaded. You could convince me on literally anyone, from Chris Statlander to Willow Nightingale to Megan Bain. Pick who you want. For the purposes of our podcast, though, I'll say that because presumably the winner would face Toni Storm. Man, that's a tough one. I'm gonna go Athena. I'm gonna say Athena wins the women's gauntlet, and I'm gonna go MJF wins the men's gauntlet. What do you think? Not only predictions, but what surprises do we get?
Man, that's a good one. I'm gonna say Britt Baker for the women. I think there'll be other people that show up in the women's match that we're like, oh, cool. Like Billy Starks will probably show up for this, and I'm sure there are other people that I'm thinking about. Hopefully, Red Velvet.
Yeah. Is it too soon for the Shayna Baszlers and Dakota Kais and Isla Dawns of the world?
No, any of them would be great. I don't think people will even recognize Dakota Kai if she comes back, because she went to her natural hair. It's the black curly hair. It looks awesome. She looks great. I hope that happens. I think that would be Dakota Kai there, or whatever she goes by outside of that. Outside of the WWE, I don't even know. If she comes into AEW, I think she'd be a perfect fit right away. I think Shayna Baszler would be a perfect fit right away, especially with what the Death Riders are doing, or as a counterpoint to the Death Riders. Maybe Willow is like, no, we need help here. And then I can't do this on my own because maybe Marina can recruit somebody else. And then it's like, all right, I got you. And then you see a card get handed out and it's just a spade. Like that, let's go. This, like, you don't even need to see the person, just the card. Here's my card. And you just see, yes. Queen of Spades right there.
Yes.
But that makes the most sense to have appear on the screen at the Casino Gauntlet match.
For sure.
And then
that's the layup.
That's got to be the one, right? So I think Shayna's going to be a surprise. I really do. But I think Britt is going to be one of the surprises. I actually think it's going to be between, if Britt comes back, Britt and Athena for the gauntlet. I'll take Athena to get her on the main roster and have her have an excuse to just be there now.
Mm-hmm.
But
do you think Athena loses her ROH title to Thunder Rosa, which she's had for 2 years now?
It's the only way that she's going to show up in that Casino Gauntlet match.
Yeah. I hope so.
She has to lose.
I hope so. And I think that's a good look for Thunder Rosa. I don't think Thunder Rosa
100%
is going to be an AEW champ in the immediate future. Why not run ROH?
No, and she's a great mentor. She's experienced. People that get along with her seem to really value her and like working with her and value her opinion and all of those things. Maybe we get a Serena Deeb pop out. Maybe we get there's so many different things that we could have happen here. The women's division in AEW doesn't get talked about nearly enough, man. Like nearly enough. It is loaded with talent. Is it like the same level of superstardom as WWE? No, it's AEW. Of course not, but it's loaded with talent. So I'm super excited for that match. I normally don't get excited for them, but those matches in particular are always a lot of fun.
Yes.
It's like diet quasi Royal Rumble,
right? But different enough that it's different enough. AEW.
Exactly.
And they need to give it time. Like I hope, particularly for the women's side, this is kind of a thread of all of our episodes these days. Give the women what they deserve. Give them time in this match. There are so many. MJF, clear favorite on the men's side, without us knowing the full field. That's part of the charm of the Casino Gauntlet. The women's side, and maybe this is to your point, Brad, a compliment to how loaded the roster is, how deep the division is these days. I don't even know if there is a favorite on the women's side. It's a total question mark for me. We already seen Megan Bayne versus Toni Storm. I would like to think Megan is a front runner, but I've already seen that match. Her and Penelope would be a favorite to win the women's tag titles. You know how I feel about Willow and Chris, and again, there could be names we're not thinking of. I'm just so excited to see how this can play out. There are a lot of matches here, like you said, Brad, on the show that I don't know the outcome. I just spent 7 minutes rambling about Kenny Omega versus Kazuchika Okada. I have no idea. I just know the match is going to be really fun, and I love wrestling the most when the outcome is not predetermined in my mind. And this show hopefully will deliver on that.
And I hate it the most when it should be, and it's not. When the moment should happen, and then you take it away. And we've had a lot of those moments. So maybe this Hangman beating Mox, hopefully.
He has to.
I think the ops get involved to protect. They've been building all of that. Yes. I think all of those things will come out to
Sting,
protect.
Darby, Bryan Danielson.
We're definitely getting Darby's. Darby's coming back for sure.
Definitely.
That pop's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Like something's going to be happening. Then you hear doom, 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 or we hear the Sting guitar.
Sting.
He's in town.
He lives down the street. Bryan Danielson brings out the plastic bag on Wheeler Yuta for payback.
That would be so dope.
It's
like have it all come together. Jay White comes out in a wheelchair.
And Swerve.
I have no idea if he's hurt. Like I know he's hurt, but I don't know what he's hurt with.
Willow, Swerve potentially assisting Hangman, maybe reluctantly, but us getting that moment of finally Swerve is willing to help Hangman. Like they're not going to be best friends, but maybe they have that wink or that moment. Man, this show could really be something that we talk about for years to come.
Jay White broke his hand, so I can see him showing up. He had surgery in March. White. So like having the Switchblade show back up because he was fighting the Death Riders at that time too.
Right.
He and Hangman and Cope could be making a return
for sure.
There's so many different people. I'm just so excited for this show.
Yeah, and they know.
I don't know what show I'm more excited for.
I think there is pressure on AEW, good pressure, big pressure to really land this show. It's their largest. Say what you will about how all in attendance numbers have fluctuated over the years, but this is the largest attendance they're going to have for a show in North America. Very important storylines, namely the Hangman Page versus Jon Moxley, where they just have to lean into what fans want. And if they do, again, Brad, I think this is going to be a show that we talk about in December when we're reviewing the best moments of the year.
Now I'm excited for that. Like I'm just genuinely excited right now. Maybe it's because we're not in school right now. Maybe it's because we got all this energy. We're gearing up for the start of the school year. We get to see the kids and greet them, and you get to start a new job and a new so excited for you. I'm scared. I can't wait to get into it and see the kids. But ask me in like late November how I'm doing, and we'll we'll see. We'll take it from there when I'm like sucking down coffee instead of water when it's 155 degrees outside. Speaking of, Tyler, what did we miss?
So first on the wrestling side of things, Elena Black defeated Brittany Brooks at Arizona Wrestling Federation's All-American Grand Slam. Yeah,
new champ.
The new champ, and that assures that we'll get Elena Black here in Arizona at some point. I am convinced that you and I will meet at Bull Shooters at some point. Speaking of places you have to go, we mentioned Culinary Dropout at the beginning of this conversation. Bull Shooters, Brad, you got to go at least once. I can't wait to hear your analogy of what Bull Shooters is like. If Culinary Dropout is the equivalent of Jack Harlow, Bull Shooters is Kid Rock meets Waka Flocka Flame meets I don't know. Stay tuned because we are hoping to attend an AWF show at some point. But shout out to Elena Black, the artist formerly known as Cora Jade, for picking up that victory. And Brittany Brooks continues to make waves and hopefully will be signed at some point here soon. We shall see. Two other notes, Brad, sports side of things. Right before we jumped on this recording, Devin Booker and the Phoenix Suns signed a 2-year, $150 million contract extension.
Wow,
this was speculated. This was expected. And yeah, you could buy a lot of book ones at that price point. And then also WNBA talk. The Phoenix Mercury have the third best record in the league as All-Star break approaches. I was completely wrong about this year's squad. They're doing their thing. Shout out to previous guest and dear friend of the show, Erica Day, for her continued great coverage of the team and of the league in general. Brad, you and I are welcoming 19 Media's own Desmond Powell back to Gimmick Infringement very soon to have an episode specifically about the W. So I will save additional thoughts until then. And then finally, what did we miss? For our reality TV show fans out there, we are so back. Bachelor in Paradise premieres tonight. And I am actually willing to tune in because this will, I know this is a big moment for me and for us. This is the first Bachelor in Paradise that will also include, I was going to say cast-offs, but that sounds disrespectful. Former contestants on Golden Bachelor and Golden Bachelorette. So ABC is really leaning into, this is going to be the first of its kind where we have the regular Bachelor and Bachelorette folks, but also mix in the Golden cast member. So we shall see. I'll check it out. A roast from Tyler may have to return next week. And then finally, Brad, my favorite reality show, probably even above Batch, dare I say, Big Brother returns on Thursday. It's the hallmark for me. I know we're in the thick of summer. Once Big Brother returns, that is popping off this Thursday. And I eagerly anticipate its season debut. What did we miss?
Well, what did you miss? 12:33. Kevin Durant tweeted out, "My time in Phoenix has come to an end. All these stops along the journey have really impacted me in a positive way. Remember, it's a world behind the scenes, and those who make things work in that space work tirelessly to make our lives easier as players. I appreciated all the quick interactions with everybody from support staff to teammates, distant cousins. It's all a family that I'm grateful to be a part of no matter what. I truly believe the NBA is one big community. Much love to Arizona, Houston. Can't wait." So tweeted out the love to Arizona, the excitement for the future, and the feeling of support. I thought you'd appreciate that after you brought up the book news. The WNBA, speaking of, we're getting more teams, Tyler. Detroit's finally going to be getting a team back after years of not having one. I'm excited for Detroit in my home state. But to your point, the Mercury are good. The Mercury are good. We've had trades going on. I'm excited to talk about it. Shocking trades actually in the WNBA and all kinds of stuff happening in that space. In terms of what else did we miss? I have been watching Ironheart and Marvel show, Disney. If you saw Black Panther 2, if you saw Wakanda Forever, then you saw Riri already. So far, I really enjoy the show. A lot of people were down on it, but I think people are down on it for reasons, Tyler. And it's I don't know. I'm digging it so far. Anthony Ramos, the big bad in the show.
No way.
Yeah, it's really good, really good. People I really like and respect their work. They're all in this, and it's been a lot of fun so far. I don't get why people are like just mad about these adaptations and all these things when it comes to like a comic book character, all this. So I've been trying to stay off social media because people are like, well, they ruined it. They're taking this storyline and merging it with that one. They're doing it wrong. And it's like, who cares? Who cares? You've never seen it like this. Who cares? This doesn't belong to you. Like, it's art. Relax. Just enjoy the show and that's it. That's all I care about. Like, just enjoy it. People are making content for you. Just enjoy it. Right. Complain about it. Fine. Critique it. Sure.
Yeah.
Complaining about it. What's it do? Just simply turn it off.
I think people like to be contrarian sometimes, just to be
the comments. So good. Another. I'm not going to watch another woke, whatever it was. And I was like, what? A woke what? Woke. Okay. Very good. You don't have to. It's a white guy and a soldier on that. But yeah, okay. Yeah, woke. Very woke. Very good. Yep. Anyway, that's what we missed.
I have nothing to add. I do have a request to end the show. Once again, if you have not already, please be sure to follow us at GIPod19 for exclusive show updates and much more. We thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next week. Gimmick Infringement is a part of 19 Media Group. You can listen to us on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube via the 19 Media Group channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share.